Hello, my name is Richard Bruce. This is Rich Lee Bruce is the channel. RichLeeBruce.com is my website. If it's on the internet and says Rich Lee Bruce, it's generally me. Uh, Today's topic is bear safety and more generally safety with large mammalian predators and to some degree with predators in general. How to remain safe. This can be a sort of an important topic. There are in the United States and Canada something like 1 million predators, which, when full grown, are large enough to eat you. And if you do a lot of camping, there's a good chance you're going to end up meeting up with these predators and having a close encounter of the furry kind. But don't worry too much, because generally it's extremely rare for these animals to actually eat you. Now, by the way, let me give a caveat here and say a lot of this stuff doesn't really apply to polar bears and also to grizzly bears that live what are called barren ground grizzlies, living north of the tree line. That means so far north there are no trees. Those animals can be very dangerous, but let's face it, not many of us spend much time in that environment. And so for the environment that you're actually out there walking around in, these animals tend to be reasonably safe when you meet up with them. And I have lots of friends who have lots of wonderful stories about very, very close encounters where they're a few feet away from bear, or in case of my cousin, the bear brushed up against her while she was in camp. Sometimes, as I say, they get really quite close and can be terrifying to people. But let's talk about the safety. Standard safety rules, as you know, don't run away. That's the first one. Very, very important rule. But you also hear make noise. You don't want to surprise them. And wear bright colors. And the usual story is, we don't want to surprise them. I strongly suspect that these bears and other large predators like mountain lions and wolves, they already know you're there. You're not really surprising them. That's actually not really what the issue is. What the issue is this: the bears and other large mammalian predators, mammals, have to be sort of selective in what they eat, because there's a lot of things in their environment that are small enough to eat. They look like they could be good to eat, but they're in fact dangerous to eat. For example, they're amphibians, frogs, salamanders. Almost all of them are poisonous to be eaten. And then, of course, there are venomous animals like snakes and some spiders and bees and wasps, though, of course, the bears do survive those, at least the bees. In general, they have to know that there are a lot of these poisonous things. There's also porcupines that can be dangerous to eat. Skunks, you don't want to try to eat one of those, because then they'll give you a stench that might make it difficult for you to hunt for a long while, and maybe you starve to death during that period of time. So in general, they want to be selective in what they eat. And how do they do that? Well, generally, since they're mammals, they are raised by their mothers, and their mother trains them to hunt. And if mother did not bring home something to eat, did not train you to hunt for something, then it's probably safe. The safe course is just don't eat it. And human beings are around all the time, and yet mom never brought one home. So there's got to be some reason why they are dangerous. Now, what we want to do is we want to reinforce that good message that the mother gave her children and the cubs. And the way to do that is to don't run, because things that are safe to eat often run away, where things that are dangerous to eat often stand their ground. For example, a rattlesnake will stand its ground. Make noise. Well, rattlesnakes make noise. They don't try to hide. They're not silent. They make noise. Bright colors. We know that the poison dart frogs of Latin America, the tropical areas, have these bright colors to warn the predator that they are dangerous to eat. And even in our own environment, we can see the same thing. And the coral snakes have bright colors to warn the predators that they are dangerous to eat. So all of these are ways of reinforcing the mother's good message that humans are dangerous to eat. And of course, this is what the mothers taught their cubs, because that's what their mothers taught them. And if a mother does attack a human being and tries to feed it to her cubs, then obviously the human beings are going to kill the mother and probably several other innocent bears in the area, and perhaps the cubs. But even if they don't kill the cubs still are not going to survive without the mother. So basic rule is we reinforce the good message of the mother in these ways, and by doing things that appear to be contradictory. And this is counterintuitive. You're not trying to get away from the predator. You're not trying to hide from the predator, because that's what things that are safe to eat do. Things that are dangerous to eat make themselves obvious and don't run away. That's sort of a signal that the natural world has, that the animal can say, I am not something that is safe to eat. And so that's the message that you want to deliver to that bear or mountain lion, for your sake and even for the bear's sake. Now, as I say, when an animal like this does break the rules and does eat a human being, it usually won't stop. All of a sudden it realizes, wait a minute, you mean we can eat these things? They're all over the place. They're defenseless. And so once they do it once, they will very rapidly start doing it. And the animal has to be killed very rapidly after that. Some people will say, because they're virtue signaling, oh, but it's just natural. Well, natural or not, it's very, very, very rare. These animals have perhaps millions of opportunities, many millions of opportunities to eat a human being for every one they actually eat a human being. So it's extremely rare behavior, and we can't let the few bad actors tar the mostly good animals. And so we have to act quickly when we have a man killer and not listen to the virtue signalers who are trying to prove that they're more ecological than thou. Okay. That's your basic message. Now, by the way, on the subject of polar bears and those extremely northern grizzlies, one of the reasons this probably doesn't work that well with them is because they're living in an environment where there are very few dangerous things to eat. The only dangerous thing in some of the polar bears, and this doesn't even apply to all polar bears, but some polar bears would have to face up to porcupines. But other than that, there's nothing that moves other than a human being that's dangerous to eat. So they don't seem to follow this rule as much. They tend to be more aggressive. But that's the extreme far north. In most of your camping experiences, obviously you're not in that kind of environment. You're with predators that have to deal with amphibians and various other things that are dangerous to eat, and they will generally follow these rules. So that's a bit of the safety advice. And as I say, if you want to hear some great stories, you can talk to your friends, because very often if you talk to several of them, you'll find somebody who has a great story about how they had a very close encounter where they got within a few feet of the bear and the bear left them alone. Okay. Enjoy your wild America. And remember, Rich Lee Bruce on the internet. That's Richard. That's me. And leave a comment if you can. Okay. Bye.